Okay, so just a minor note before I begin. Uh, I won't be referring anymore to Slayer Nation because of a new T-shirt that they have out that's similar to the Oakland Raider logo. So we will just go by something else. But anyway, this is at least the beginning thoughts on the concert from, it's now 2 days ago, I think, 2 or 3 days, something like that. Or yeah, 2 days, something like that. Sorry, I'm exhausted still. I'm out of it. Still can't hear very well, and I'm sore all over. But that's the norm, and I knew that. For starters, the concert was amazing. It's you go and you know what to expect. You know anything about them, you know what to expect. The crowd was amazing. They were amazing, and so let's go into more details. This was by far, and you have to realize it's mostly because of the venue, but this was probably the best experience before concert I've ever had. I mean, you're on a college campus, which made it rather unusual, of course, because the only similar venue like that was when I saw him in San Diego at the sports arena, because it was a similar type setup, although that's bigger than the venue at the college. But everything was amazing. There were no problems. You go in, we were in line like a couple hours before the show started. So we actually, because everything started at 7:30, gates opened at 6:30, so we got in line about 4:30, 5 o'clock. No issues. You walked right in. And there were no problems, and everybody was everything was real cool. Security didn't cause any problems. They weren't dicks or anything like that. They handled everybody. The funny thing was that outside there was a sign that said no moshing and no crowd surfing. Obviously, that wasn't going to play. It's a Slayer show, for crying out loud, and so obviously that didn't fly, and there weren't any problems. If you were up at the front, which I was right on the rail. You get kicked in the head, half a dozen times from the crowd surfers, but hey, that's what you expect. So my neck's a little sore from that. But yeah, they were. Everything as far as security was cool and all that. Everything went fine. No issues with long lines or waiting or holdups or none of that. Which is nice, and I realize that's because of the venue that we were at. Because at these, the bigger places where you typically see a band like this, you're gonna have those issues because those guys are just morons. But the opening band, Forearm, never even heard of them before. definitely enjoyed them. Uh, Gojira, I'd heard of, didn't particularly care for. They were into it, um, but got some clips on my phone, which I will be showing on this this channel eventually. I'll have pictures and I'll have stills and I'll have video that I'll add. Um, uh, in addition to to this review, um, everybody knew what they were there for, even the bands. Um, you know, we knew what was going on. So it was basically, yeah, it's all right, but it's don't take too long, or else you're going to start to piss us off, because we all are here to see one person. We're here. Well, really 4 people, but 1 band. And it was just totally awesome. They were absolutely on fire, and everything raring to go. And they played a different set list, which was nice. They opened with Hell Awaits, and they didn't play anything after Seasons, which was cool, because they played stuff that they don't usually play live. And for example, At Dawn They Sleep, which is ironic, since that's one of Dave's favorite songs to play live, and Dave's not in the band anymore. I thought that was pretty funny, but they it was rather interesting with the set list. No new stuff. You had even Blood Red was in there, along with basically you had Hell Awaits, At Dawn They Sleep, Black Magic, Die by the Sword, Seasons, Blood Red, War Ensemble, South of Heaven, Mandatory Suicide, and let's see, we had Angel of Death, of course, Raining Blood, of course, Altar of Sacrifice, Postmortem. That's pretty much most of their set. And it would just, and they closed. It was interesting because they closed with South of Heaven and Angel, and those being the last 2 songs that Jeff played, was rather interesting. But they were absolutely amazing. They sounded good. Aray's voice sounded good, and they were just a headbanging mess, and they really enjoyed themselves, and they were on it like their usual self. They always are. The crowd was absolute fucking insanity. Being on a college campus, there's going to be a lot younger people, obviously. Weren't too many of the old guard, but they were there, and it was a madhouse. That was probably the hardest, roughest, brutalist crowd that I will ever see them again. And probably as close as I'll get to the early days of what that's probably the only taste of the early days with those crowds that I'll get, because it was a nut house with everybody just jumping around and to push it. It was nuts, and it's like um, and this is the sorest I've ever been. I still have trouble breathing because of the beating that my my chest took being shoved against the rail. But it's just, it's like, would I do it again? Absolutely. It's just that the crowd was awesome. It was like totally into it, but it's like, nobody knows who they are, and it's like, because you got, you got there were a lot of high school kids, and there are a lot of, obviously college age kids who they got hardly any idea, that's their first time seeing them, and that kind of nonsense, which that always gets a little bit annoying, but never, at least for me it does, but nothing ever detracts from from seeing them, because I'm such, crazy in the head, you know, and I'm, and it's like, I just, I know I'm gonna get hit, and I know I'm gonna get, bashed around and all that, and and I'm gonna hand it, I'm gonna hand it back. Um, it's like, you're gonna get, you're gonna get hurt, and it's like, yeah, you got a smile on your face. You're nuts that way. You're nuts that way, and but so pretty much all in all, it was just amazing, and it sounded good, and they're continuing on. They're heading east. They're going up like 4 or 5 dates in Canada, and they're ending at the end of the month. And then the good news is they are going to be recording new material, being that they're overdue for an album, of course, with what happened in May. But they are going to finish the tour and then start work on new material, according to several articles on Facebook. And they are going to be trying to incorporate some of Jeff's material that he had started, at least according to one of the articles that was posted by their Facebook page. There are a couple side notes. My dad, which was a surprise to me, and to, well, not really to me, although he'd never done it before. He knocked the guy out. I mean, flat on his ass. Told me I didn't see it because he had to leave, because he got knocked around too much by this. There was one asshole that was being a douchebag, and he pushed to the front, and I, throughout the concert, I made him pay for it, because he tried reaching to get his hand on the railing. So what I did was, since my chest was getting slammed against the rail so much, I pinned his arm against my chest and held it there, so every time I was getting slammed into the fence, I was hitting his arm, and so I used his arm to brace for the whole thing, and so ended up getting him back for that. But there was another guy that was, being a fucking idiot, and he paid for it with a punched the V guy. I mean, he was leveled. My dad just went and fucking decked him, and he deserved it. And that, straight up, you don't be a fuckhead, and that's what you get. You be a fuckhead, you get put down. Bottom line. So those were the only other problems. And I guess it's something with NorCal. There are a lot of people. There weren't any, Jesus freak protesters, but there were a lot of people handing out religious music. It was funny because it's like we're up at the front line. There's people, handing us shit, and it's like, fuck it, we don't want this, so we chuck it. But before I wrap this up, I'm going to have another addendum to the video that I posted a couple days ago about the t-shirts, because I picked up some new ones. And yeah. Okay, now these first two are bootlegs that one I bought myself. The other one my dad picked up because I was already inside and wasn't paying attention. But this is obviously Christ Illusion. There's the back with the dates on it, and not a bad looking shirt. And then here's another bootleg t-shirt. This design didn't particularly care for, and that's why I didn't get it, but it's Slayer, so I'll keep it. It's basically a mock-up. It's cool because it actually does have one of my favorite logo designs on it. That one right there. That one I've seen it's an old design from an old t-shirt. That one is actually awesome. But it's also got some other logos and everything, and then the back has all three bands, Forearm and Gojira, and the dates on it. But the newest piece and the most expensive piece is, and I'm kind of a little embarrassed and ashamed, but it's not going to surprise you because, as anybody knows, I spend too much. Check this out. Yeah, this is awesome. And haven't seen it on the website yet. It probably is up there, but just haven't seen it yet. And so that was really cool. It was pricey though, but it was really, really cool and couldn't resist. So there you go. And Oh, there is one thing I did want to add. Um, since I rag on Revolver so much, when they do something right, and of course that's only a matter of opinion, I realize, but when they do something right, in my eyes at least, I'll give them their due. Picked this up yesterday, only because of, look who they put on the cover, number one, and finally gave him the attention that he deserved. And they got, because they got here, 4 or 5 pages with a couple of photos. This photo is really cool. That one right there. They finally gave him his due. It took a while, but better late than never. Because of whatever they got their time occupied finding their next hottest chick to put on their magazine cover. Okay, you demented fanatics, I'm out.